Hello, this is William from Ligadata. In this video I'm going to show you how to install Kamanja from Source. First we'll start with downloading from GitHub the source code and then actually run the install script that packages up the binaries for you. Before we do that, we need to check to make sure that we have our proper Java and Scala versions installed. For this we require Java version 1.7 or greater and Scala 2.10 or 2.11. In this case I will be running it using 2.11, but at least for the basic installation you don't necessarily need one or the other installed, as both versions of it will be packaged in this video. So a good thing to do would be to make sure that you have Java_home and Scala _home set as environment variables before doing this. I also have a Kafka home set up. You will need Kafka and Zookeeper both installed for Kamanja to work, so I recommend you go and look up how to install those before following any further in this video. So to download the source, we use Git, which if you're on Mac should already be on there, depending on the version, I think. And if you don't, you can always download it. And if you're on Linux, you should definitely have it on there when you along with the Linux distribution. So here we'll do a git clone https://github.com/ligadata/kamanja, and that is our repository that we are keeping it in. So just give it a couple minutes here to download all the source. Okay, now that we've downloaded the source, I've got it in /user/william/git. So I'm just going to go to cd Kamanja, and if you do a quick ls, we actually have a trunk folder in here as well that you have to go to. Once you're in there, you should see all these folders show up when you run ls. So the one that we're going to want to go to is the sample application folder. So navigate there, then easy install, and now you see 2 script files in another directory, which will all be used as part of the installation. But all you have to run directly is the easy install script. So if you just run easy install by itself, it should give you this nice error message indicating that you need to give an install path. So for purposes of this, I'm going to install it in /temp/kamanja. I don't recommend you put it there for serious use, because obviously if you restart your computer, it will be gone when it starts back up. So let's go ahead and just run this. First one is install path, which is the location you want to install it in. So type that in. Next is, because you're doing this from source, we need to know where the trunk directory is in the source code. So I'll go ahead and do that. Trunk. The next thing you need to know is the Ivy directory path for dependencies. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Ivy or SBT's simple build tool, Ivy is simply the folder in which all the jars are pulled down, all the dependencies that are required for Kamanja are pulled down into this directory. If you're familiar with Maven, it's pretty much that same thing. So this is usually located in your home folder. So go to userswilliam.iv2. And finally, you need to provide the Kafka installation path, which for me is in user local seller Kafka 0822. And then hit enter. And it should start creating any additional directories that you need, cleaning, packaging, and creating some fat jars to execute. This will likely take quite a while, as it's a lot of files that are being pulled down, and quite a few fat jars that are created out of this. So I suggest taking some time to get some coffee while you wait. Okay, now that it's finally done installing, everybody can wake back up now from their afternoon nap and navigate to the installation directory. In my case, /temp/Kamanja. In there, you'll see actually eight files now created. And I'll go through them one by one. The first one here is the 2.10 version of Kamanja, and the second one following it is the tarball for that one, followed by the 2.11 version of Kamanja and its tarball. And on the right here you see Kamanja install, which is what we use to actually install a cluster of Kamanja nodes, which we will go over in another video later. And then there's its tarball and the 2.11 version and its tarball as well. So since I have Scala version 2.11 installed, I'm going to go ahead and navigate to the 2.11 version of Kamanja, and then go to, and first thing we do, I've got some Kafkas running, so I'm going to want to kill those off real quick. I'm going to do it quite violently, because I'm just going to reset everything anyways, to make sure that I don't have anything in my temp directory. So first I'll start Zookeeper, and then I shall start Kafka in the background. And what might be good is if I toss an ampersand at the end of that, and now I can actually use the console. So now that Kafka and Zookeeper are running, let's run upload cluster config. This will allow us to configure our cluster, all our nodes, our Kafka server, and our ignore that. Our Kafka server, our Zookeeper, all our nodes, our data stores. So in order to upload a cluster config, you simply type Kamanja cluster config. Kamanja upload cluster config. Sorry, I'm all over the place today. And then the directory of cluster config, which is under our config folder. Now that that's done, we're going to add the hello world message so that we can say hello to the world. And all the metadata, which is being added, the messages and the models, are all contained within input, sample applications, metadata, in this case, message. And the message definition hello world is the one we will be adding for this video, but there are 7 sample messages in there for you to choose from. And once again, I'm all over the place, missing commands. With all Kamanja commands, you have to actually include what it is you want to do. So in this case, bash Kamanja add message. And then the directory of the message, the full path to the message. And what you see here is the message actually being compiled into a jar file. Now that that's done, we're going to do the same thing with a model. Kamanja add model, input, sample applications, metadata, model. We'll look in here and we will add kpml, model hello world.xml. kpml is sort of Kamanja's own flavor of PMML that is being extended to allow for more complex operations, custom functions, ability for lookup tables and message history and other things that you can find more details about at kamanja.org. So let's correct this command here. In order to add a model, you have to actually specify the model type as well. We support models written in Scala, Java, native PMML, or Kamanja's kpmml. So for this one, we'll select kpmml and hit enter. Now that the model has been successfully added, before we can do anything else, we need to make sure that we have some topics for Kafka. For purposes of this video and the sample applications that Kamanja provides, we will create some predefined test topics by running the following: bash Kamanja, create queues. And what you see here are topics test in, test out, test status, and test failed events all created. So now that that's done, we can go and start Kamanja. To do that, you just do bash Kamanja start. If you want to run it in the foreground, that is, if you want to take up your terminal, you do start-v. But for now, we will simply run it in the background. Okay. A quick JPS again to make sure it's all running and stays running for a little while. All right, no problems there. So now what we're going to do is navigate to input, sample applications, bin. If you look in here, you have several scripts, some of which will install the one of the 4 sample applications for you. But what we're going to do now is run bash push sample data to Kafka _ hello world to push the hello world sample messages in. Now that's done, we will go back to our Kamanja root directory and run bash bin Kamanja watch input queue to watch that test input queue to show that our messages are there in the Kafka input topic. And likewise, we'll go to the watch output queue to make sure that messages have been generated, and there they are. These show that the model system.helloworld has run and produced output based on 2 of the 51 messages that were pushed in. And that's all it is.